Hey there everybody, this is Dr. Mariza and I am excited to share with you a really amazing strategy that I'm utilizing, or I've been using for actually quite some time, but specifically being a little bit more strict about it this year, and that's going to be really focused on being a fat burner versus a sugar burner. I want to talk a little bit about what that looks like. You know, for years I really struggled with anxiousness, irritability, exhaustion, really bone-crushing exhaustion. The kind of exhaustion that when you woke up in the morning, it was hard to pick your head up off the pillow. And I remember during those years, my hormones were absolutely a wreck. I had adrenal deregulation, there were a lot of things going on, but I wasn't eating very well for my body. I had put on 30 pounds for what I considered to be no reason. I felt like I was eating a pretty healthy diet, but it was a healthy diet really stemming from sugar and more carbs than really focusing on burning fat. So let's talk a little bit about what it looks like to be a sugar burner versus a fat burner, and a little bit about what you should look for. So oftentimes, I always love to ask my patients, do you find yourself eating snacks throughout the day or after dinner, or maybe in front of a TV after dinner, like in between meals? And if you do, you may be experiencing, lack of energy. You may be finding that there's issues with digestive systems, or maybe you're having some complaints around irritability, anxiousness, brain fog is something that I see a lot, right? You're just having a hard time on that recall. And then also fatigue and maybe weight particularly around the midsection as well. And what I have found with so many of my patients over the years is that sugar tends to be the big culprit. And we find ourselves on what I call this sugar roller coaster, which accounts for a lot of the symptoms that I see with my patients, because they are trying to, what I call, feed an unmet need, mostly around hormones in this vicious cycle. And so what I want to talk a little bit about exactly what is a sugar burner, and then what it looks like to be a fat burner, and how can we begin to implement some steps to get you right on track. Now, I'm also going to be doing a giveaway. So if you jump on, how I'm going to be doing this giveaway is by sharing one of my absolute favorite books. I'm an author of 5 nutrition books, and I've got a new book coming out called The Smart Mom's Guide to Essential Oils, which I'm so excited about. But the book that I'm going to be giving away, because it's the new year, is my water infusion detox book. One of the things that I notice is that we tend to eat when we think that we're thirsty, and majority of people, well over 70% of the population in America, are actually chronically dehydrated. So getting water into the system is going to really help with this as well, help with becoming more of a fat burner and not consuming as much sugar, because oftentimes it's really water that we need. And then I'm going to give away one of my absolute favorite essential oils, which is phenomenal for helping sugar cravings, helping to boost metabolism, and helping to really purify the body, and that is going to be grapefruit oil. And grapefruit is wonderful in water. I add it to my green smoothies. It's wonderful for creating smoother skin as well. I add it to my body washes and my cleaning products. I love this oil, but it's phenomenal for helping to support the organ systems too around detoxification. And like I said, great for helping to stave off sugar cravings or any type of food cravings. This is going to be the oil that does it for you. So what I'm going to do is, how you're going to give away is by sharing this video. Hopefully you're loving the content so far. I'm going to give you, again, the definition of sugar burning versus fat burning, and then some wonderful ways to implement becoming a fat burner this year in 2017. If you do share the video, you're going to be up to win the Water Infusion Detox book and the grapefruit oil. So I'm excited to be able to announce that. So basically, a sugar burner is when the body runs on glucose for fuel, right? So we're consuming glucose, our mitochondria is breaking it down and turning it into ATP, using it for all of the cellular energy that we need in the body. However, although it sounds ideal, it also means that your body never goes near your fat reserves, right? If your body's constantly just working off of the glucose reserves as fuel, which again, your brain does need some glucose to function. It actually only really functions off of glucose, and it is a very hungry organ, I will say. However, when it comes to us trying to burn fat and lose weight, if we're constantly pumping ourselves full of carbohydrates, like a granola bar, a fruit smoothie, a fruit yogurt throughout the day, what we're going to find is our body will just say, well, I've got all of these carbs to utilize, and they never actually get to breaking down the fat. And if we end up eating too many carbs, not only do we only live off carbs as fuel, but also if we have excess carbohydrates and sugars, they actually get stored as fat, and then proving to be a bigger problem on top of that. We're not only not losing that fat, but we're actually putting fat on. So what I want to propose is us becoming more fat burner driven. I think that'll be really big. So let's talk a little bit about what a fat burner looks like. So a fat burner literally means your body shifts. So I have my notes right in front of me. Your body shifts from glucose as its primary source of energy to fat as its primary source of energy. And all of a sudden, suddenly you don't feel like you need to graze every few hours because your body is running off of that really amazing, sustainable fat energy that you've got stored up. Not only will this help to reset the way that your body is burning fat, but also your hormones will jump on the bandwagon as well, and they will reset and they will work with your body to actually lose weight. So hormones like your insulin hormone, thyroid will play a role, cortisol, and even estrogen, all of these will work together to really help you reset those hormones. Leptin is also another one that will be reset to help you lose that fat and not hold on to it if you were a sugar burner. So the really great thing about this is that it's what I consider to be a really powerful secret weapon to resetting your body. So how do you even begin to become a fat burner, right? Well, a big part of becoming a fat burner is tapering off high sugar impact foods and transitioning your diet to a low sugar impact. So basically you're reducing your diet's sugar impact that will quickly help to reset the body, reset the hormones, so that you're then burning fat and not just burning all of this excess sugar that you've got going on. So what does that really look like, right? So I always talk about you're gonna be eating more good fats. So coconut oil, avocado oil is phenomenal. Almonds, nuts, those are all really phenomenal good fats. Clean, lean protein. I recommend protein at every single meal. That keeps you feeling full so that you don't find yourself snacking throughout the day, particularly snacking on carb-driven little snacks. A lot of our snacks are carb-driven, like grabbing a Kind bar or grabbing a granola bar, maybe eating a yogurt or whatever that may be, or even grabbing a high glycemic index fruit. Maybe you're eating mango or something like that. So that'll keep us from snacking throughout the day so that your body's actually burning fat. Now, what I will say is that if over time you continue with this, as you're cutting out all of those high impact sugars, you can actually even continue to burn fat throughout the night and into your sleep, especially if you're pairing this with some really wonderful weight-bearing exercise or high-intensity interval training as well. You're really gonna get more bang for your buck. So what does this really entail? What am I asking you to do? So one of the things, again, you could gradually start to just remove some of the sugars and the carbs in your life. Those are, gluten-based carbs. I would say things like granola bar, yogurts, bread is a huge one, rice, pastas, grains, really being careful about those things that you're eating throughout the day and really focusing on healthy fats. Focusing on veggies, lots of veggies. I usually recommend a pound of veggies every single day to help reset your hormones and reset yourself into fat burning mode, and then making sure that you eat lean protein. It could be protein from beans, it could be lentils, it could be eggs, it could be lean grass-fed meat like red meat, chicken, poultry, whatever it is that aligns with your philosophy or whatever aligns with your personal digestive preferences. But again, fats, protein, and veggies are the mainstay, pushing out any of those sugars. Now for me, I tend to not eat sugar throughout the day. The only time that I actually eat sugar is I make a green smoothie every single morning, and in that green smoothie is lots and lots of veggies, right? We go through a 5 pound of spinach every 2 days, sometimes faster than that, depending on what we're making. So I aim to consume at least a 1/4 pound of veggies in my green smoothie every single morning, but I also add a plant-based raw green-based protein into that smoothie. I add healthy fats. I'm usually either using coconut oil or I'm using a half of an avocado or ground flaxseed, depending on what I'm making, with a little bit of maca, a little bit of matcha, because matcha is wonderful for boosting metabolism. And I blend it all up, and I add some carbs spinach has a little bit of carbohydrates in it. That's definitely a low glycemic index food, but I'll add black cherries, unsweetened black cherries, or a mixed berry blend. I'll do like a half a cup of those to add a little bit of flavor and to get some of those really wonderful phytoestrogens, but polyphenols, isoflavones, and antioxidants. And so that's usually where I'm getting my sugar throughout the day, is really in that particular meal in the morning, where I know I'm going to be able to burn that off later on during the day. But I also add really good protein to it and a really wonderful healthy fat as well. So it's a very complex and more fat burning driven recipe than anything else. So if you're not willing to break up with sugar right out the gate, it's usually what I recommend. I know it's a really hard thing to do, but breaking up with sugar is huge and can really reset the body. And sometimes only 5 days of breaking up with sugar, right? Removing all grains. I'm usually talking about like all sugar, no sugar in your coffee, removing fruit. I mean, all sugar entirely, going no sugar for a couple of days. If that feels really challenging, what I normally recommend to kind of taper you to that place of having a sugar breakup is just working towards only consuming 5 grams of sugar for every single meal throughout the day. Even doing this is going to help you steadily move into sugar burning mode. Now, one of my favorite books that we wrote that is doing really well right now, because it's the new year and it's still cold, is going to be our low glycemic slow cooker. And in the index of this slow cooker, what we did is we not only created a shopping list, we have a shopping list here that's all low glycemic food. So it's greens. So what greens are approved, which are all greens, let's be honest. What vegetables are approved, fresh herbs, low glycemic fruits like blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, right? Black cherries, those are all wonderful low glycemic fruits. Medium glycemic fruits, that are still relatively approved friendly, although I recommend the high glycemic fruit or the low glycemic fruits. What dairy, meat, and eggs can be approved, fish. What grains for instance, like oats, gluten-free oats, potentially quinoa, although I really do recommend maybe coming off of grains for that week if you're going to break up with sugar. And then beans and legumes, nuts and seeds, stock and broth, oils, vinegars, herbs and spices, and then a couple of sweeteners as well, like stevia. Usually stevia is the only sweetener that I approve. And then what I love about this is we have an index that really talks about all of what are the low glycemic index foods and what is their index score. So I love this book because it gives you a lot of recommendations. Now this book, when we wrote it, was really for helping to support people with diabetes and heart disease, but what we found is it's wonderful for helping for weight loss, and it's really designed for people who want to become a sugar burner. So I really loved that book and having that wonderful resource so that it indexed all of those foods. So again, you're focusing on lots of veggies, making sure that they're not very starchy veggies, healthy fats, and lean proteins, and staying away from anything, any carb-based food for at least a week to kind of reset the system, and then making sure that you keep those at a minimum so that they're well balanced with the fat and the lean proteins that you're consuming, so that you're then focused on being a fat burner. Again, if you want to enter into the giveaway, just one more time, I'm going to be giving away the grapefruit and the water infusion detox book together, and that winner is going to be anyone who shares this wonderful video with other people. I hope that I'm inspiring you to focus in that direction of becoming a fat burner. I know for me, it was a challenge. I remember the first time I broke up with sugar, I was dreaming about sugar. I even had a dream that I actually took a cookie from a friend and ate it, and I woke up so concerned. I had a breakup with sugar challenge with one of my best friends way back in the day, and I had a dream that she and I were both stealing cookies and eating them, and I was so blessed that it was actually just a dream. It wasn't actually reality. And so what you're going to find is there is a lot of emotions tied to eating carbohydrates and eating sugar, but I do think that a clean cut, a big just break up with sugar moment, even for 5 days, you'd be amazed at not only how much weight you'll lose, but really how you're able to reset your hormones and reset your body into burning fat opposed to just burning fuel in terms of glucose. Well, I hope this was helpful. I don't want to stay on too long because I know everyone is busy, and I look forward to coming on again and sharing some wonderful tips about how to keep your body healthy, high vitality, and just increasing that longevity and happiness that so many of you are looking for. All right, talk to you later. Bye.